Hello everyone, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink, and I sat down the other day with my kids and decided it was finally time to pull out the Simon Says Stamp plush ice cream cone die set that I had bought, oh gosh, a month or two ago. My sense of time is off. Anyway, it was our little project. I've shown pictures on my blog and on Instagram and whatnot of some of the other plush dies we've used. It's just fun to die cut a bunch of these and then we all sit down and make our little felt plushies. So I pulled the ice cream cone one out and decided to make 4 altogether. I made 2 of them and then my older girls each made 1. Super fun and super easy. And sorry, this is kind of a little out of focus. I didn't realize my camera, I had it focused on like the handle of my big shot. But anyway, I pulled out the dies and I trimmed down all the felt I wanted to use. I have a big stash of felt and I get asked about it a lot, like where I get felt. I've had them from several different sources. A lot of them are discontinued. I do have some Simon Says felt, which is what I'll link to. I really like their felt. It die cuts really nicely and it sews up really nicely as well. Because I do have other felt that is, I don't even know where I got it, but it's cheaper felt. It's really thin, and I found sewing it, like it would rip apart where the holes were. Like this dark brown felt I have, I don't even know what brand it is. But yeah, it was really thin. I didn't like it. So I really like my Simon Says felt. So I trim out all the pieces first, just the colors I wanted to use, because of course everyone wanted a different color of ice cream and a different color of topping. And then die cut everything, so I was able to run, all the pieces through at once. So I did 2 of each piece so that we could create stuffed little softies. And once I've got everything, we've all got our color combos chosen, I decided to use just white embroidery thread for everything to kind of keep things simple, since I was making 2 of them and then the girls were each making 1. So it just saved us on time and effort. And then to start off with, I thought the easiest way to do this is, since I wanted to stuff these, is I sewed the little detail first on each cone. So I just went back and forth. You could do like a running back stitch. I'm horrible with remembering the names of actual stitches, but I just go in and out, as I like to call it, because that is simple. So just back and forth, in and out around all the little holes that are already pre-cut to create the design. This is another reason why I love these so much. Like, I love little felt softies. Like, I see them on Instagram and, people that sell them on Etsy and that sort of thing that do them all freehand, and they're adorable. I love it. I don't have that much creativity and imagination. So that's why I like these, because it's like I can just die cut it and then, fill in the holes with my embroidery thread and I'm good to go. It's cute and easy and I don't really have to think. So yeah, I'm able to kind of let my mind wander as I do these. So I did my first little ice cream cone in the center, and then I just take, and don't worry about how the back looks because you're not going to see it because I'm going to stuff this in the end, and just tie each end kind of together just to keep it from coming loose. And with these, I make sure when I'm doing them that I secure everything just really, really well, because I'm planning on giving the 2 I was making to the 2 little ones who were napping when we made these. So I did these ones and then the girls did their own. But yeah, I just make sure everything's secure so they can't totally rip them apart or, get loose pieces out or anything like that. So I did the decorative elements on the ice cream cones themselves first. And then I stitched the bottom of each topping and each ice cream cone, and I kind of went a little bit nuts and was like trying to attach these partially and ignore that. Do whatever works for you. One of my girls actually sewed the topping like directly onto her little ice cream there, like used a sharp needle to do it, and it worked really well. I actually kind of like that. I should have done that, but I was just more into just filling in all these holes with the embroidery thread and fighting with that brown felt. I do not know where that came from, but I liked the color. I just didn't like the quality of it. So I had to be really careful. So yeah, no idea though, because of course none of my felt is labeled. So I never did remember where I had got it. It was just in my stash. But yeah, stitched all of the bottom areas. I left the top completely unstitched of the ice cream because I'm going to sew those together. So I just did the bottoms first. And then I moved back to my ice cream cone itself and stitched it almost, I went all the way around, just kind of in and out, until I was right near the end. I left the top open so that I could stuff it. And I have like these little polyester cotton balls. Obviously you could use batting for these, but I have this bag of cotton balls that I never use that are just perfect. So I just pull them apart nicely so they're not totally lumpy, and then stuff the cone as much as I want. Try not to stuff it too much because otherwise it pulls at the holes of the edges. So once I did that, went back around, kept going back around until I met where I started there. And then I went back around a second time so that it was an even stitching. That's the nice thing about these too, is you can kind of choose like one, what kind of stitch you do. I've seen some of the ones that people do and they just do every other stitch instead of just a running back stitch. Hopefully that's the right one. And it's kind of neat how different it can totally look. Plus if you use like different colors of embroidery thread, all that sort of thing, it's kind of fun how unique you can make these with something that's, you know, die cut and kind of preset. So really fun. And then of course, you know, you can die cut with cardstock and watercolor paper and do little card decorations. I'm hoping I'll have some time to do that, but for now I was happy just doing these. So yeah, I took my ice cream and topping pieces, and that's when I started sewing them together, and decided to sew the cherry to the outside of it. You could also do it so the cherry's kind of stuck, you know, in between in the middle. But I decided to stick it on the outside because I just thought it would look cute that way. So I also added stitching to that because it gives it a little bit more strength. So stitched around that and then went along and just stitched it to the outside of one side. I did think about die cutting too, but I thought that would look kind of funny with the thickness of all these layers of felt. So I just did the one so it only shows on the one side. So I just stitched those two together. So they're only sewn together all along the top there, basically, of the topping. And then it's open like a little pocket. So once I have that, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to adhere that. And I had thought about trying to sew it on, but that just was a little bit too much work for me. So all I did was I took, pulled apart another cotton ball and kind of added some stuffing to that just so it's also puffed up a little bit. And then I grabbed this felt glue, and I'd ordered this from Simon Says a while ago as well. And I'd heard really good things about it because I normally would use hot glue, but I find hot glue does not last very long, especially when my kids are like, you know, pulling on it, which happens. So I used this instead and just applied it to the inside of the cone, and then adhered it onto, or the inside of the ice cream adhered onto the cone, and then let it sit overnight to fully dry, and they were good to go. There's all our finished cones, and as always, I will have links below the video to my blog post and then links to everything I used. So check that below if you're interested. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!